Welcome to YouTube Pedia. Discover the greatest stories from history, science, and beyond. If you're curious about the world, subscribe now and join our journey through knowledge. Let's get started. The Hidden Code: Origins of a Scientific Revolution. Long before the double helix dazzled the world, long before the name DNA echoed through labs and classrooms across the globe, there was only mystery, deep, invisible threads binding life together. What makes a plant green, a child resemble their parents, or a disease pass through generations? The answers lay hidden in a code far too small to see, and it would take over a century of obsession, mistakes, and ambition to uncover even a fraction of its truth. Our story begins not with a scientist hunting glory, but with a quiet man in a quiet lab. Friedrich Miesser, a Swiss physician in the 1860s, was studying pus-covered surgical bandages, an unlikely beginning for one of the greatest discoveries in biology. In the white blood cells he isolated, he found a strange substance within the cell nuclei. It was unlike anything known. He called it nuclein. What he didn't realize was that he had just discovered DNA, the very molecule that carries the instructions for life itself. But the world wasn't ready. For decades, scientists ignored nuclein, focusing instead on proteins, which seemed far more complex, more promising. DNA appeared too simple. How could something so boring, with only 4 repeating chemicals, adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, hold the secrets of heredity? It was like assuming a children's alphabet book could contain the instructions to build a universe. As the 20th century arrived, progress was slow. Experiments by Griffith, Avery, and others gradually hinted that DNA was more than just cellular debris. It carried genetic information. But skepticism persisted. No one could explain how it worked. Then came a race, a quiet scientific war that would change everything. On one side was Linus Pauling, already a titan of science, known for his brilliant work on protein structures. His methodical approach and powerful reputation made him the favorite to crack the DNA code. But on the other side, in the foggy halls of Cambridge, 2 unlikely challengers emerged: James Watson, a young and restless American biologist, and Francis Crick, a physicist with a booming voice and a taste for bold ideas. Together, they lacked formal permission to work on DNA. They lacked access to key data, but what they lacked in credentials, they made up for in audacity. They began to spy, to theorize, to imagine. And in the middle of it all, in a London lab at King's College, a woman named Rosalind Franklin was taking the clearest X-ray photographs of DNA the world had ever seen. Her work was exact, brilliant, and guarded. She was cautious, aware that her data was powerful and that eyes were watching. Unbeknownst to her, the photo that would change the world, photograph 51, would soon fall into the hands of Watson and Crick, without her permission. But that part of the story is just beginning. Because the greatest scientific theft of the century was about to happen, and the shape of life itself, twisting, spiraling, encoded in elegant symmetry, was about to be revealed. The double helix: secrets, triumph, and controversy. In the spring of 1953, a single image shifted the course of science. It was called Photograph 51, a hauntingly beautiful X-ray diffraction image taken by Rosalind Franklin at King's College, London. It showed something never fully seen before: the ghostly shadow of a spiral, a mysterious symmetry at the heart of life. But Rosalind didn't know her photo had already been shown to others, without her knowledge, without her consent. Somewhere in Cambridge, James Watson and Francis Crick, armed with this crucial image, had their eureka moment. They began assembling a physical model, rods and connectors forming a ladder-like structure, twisting upward like the very code of life reaching toward the heavens. What they uncovered was nothing short of miraculous: the double helix. 2 strands wound around each other, held together by base pairs, A with T, G with C, simple rules, infinite complexity. The structure didn't just explain how DNA stores information, it also revealed how it copies itself. Life, it turned out, was elegant in its design, frighteningly simple and endlessly powerful. On April 25, 1953, Nature published their paper, just a single page long. No grand declarations, no flowery language, just a subtle revolution. In that moment, biology changed forever. But in the shadows of their discovery, ethical questions began to stir. Rosalind Franklin's contribution, barely mentioned, her photograph, obtained and used without permission. By the time the world celebrated Watson and Crick, Rosalind had moved on to study viruses. Brilliant and unbitter, she continued her quiet research until cancer claimed her life at just 37. She would never know how central her work had become in solving the greatest biological mystery of the 20th century. In 1962, the Nobel Prize was awarded to Watson, Crick, and Maurice Wilkins, Franklin's colleague at King's College who had given them her photograph. By Nobel rules, awards cannot be given posthumously, but history never forgets. Today, many regard Rosalind Franklin as the fourth unrecognized hero of the DNA story, a silent genius whose work was critical to the unraveling of life's code. But what came next after the double helix? The world exploded with possibility: DNA sequencing, genetic engineering, cloning, forensics, ancestry tracing, the Human Genome Project, and now CRISPR, our ability to edit the very fabric of life. All of it made possible because a few curious minds dared to ask, what is life made of? Yet with this power came responsibility and fear. Could we go too far? Should we play with nature's code? Can the same molecule that binds families and holds memories also be used to divide, discriminate, or destroy? The story of DNA is not just a tale of science. It's a tale of human ambition, moral questions, jealousy, brilliance, and secrets stolen in silence. It reminds us that behind every discovery lies a story, and that sometimes the truth of who gets remembered and who gets forgotten is just as twisted as the helix itself. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to YouTube Pedia for more deep dives into the mysteries of history, science, and the minds that changed our world.